She was born into Hollywood royalty, but she decided to trade the red carpet for the wrestling ring. She's the daughter of a legendary action hero and a world-famous supermodel, a pedigree that pretty much guaranteed a life of glamour. But instead of taking that path, she chose a different one, a road filled with pain, sacrifice, and brutal physicality. Steven Seagal's daughter, Arissa LeBrock, has just sent ripples through the wrestling world, not just with her debut, but with the unbelievable story of how she got there. This isn't just another celebrity kid trying out the family business. This is a story of a dream that was shattered, a fall into a dark place, and an incredible comeback that has left fans and insiders speechless. So forget what you think you know about wrestling legacies. Arissa LeBrock's journey redefines what it means to fight for your own name. And this is how it all went down. The debut, a statement of intent. In March 2023, inside the Rhodes Wrestling Academy in Texas, a bell rang. This wasn't a sold-out stadium or a major premium live event. This was a student showcase, an intimate, raw setting where the next generation of pro wrestlers come to prove they have what it takes. It was here, far from the blinding lights of Hollywood, that Arissa LeBrock stepped into the squared circle for her official debut. Even the name she wrestled under was a statement. Wristlock Arissa LeBrock, a clear nod to her father's martial arts world, but a name she was claiming all for herself. From the second she stepped through the ropes, it was obvious this wasn't a gimmick. This wasn't a model playing wrestler. What the audience saw was a display of what commentators called brutally efficient power. Facing two opponents in a tag team match, Arissa didn't use flashy, high-flying moves. Instead, she unleashed raw physical dominance, built on her years of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training. She moved with the confidence of a seasoned grappler, taking apart her opponents with submission holds and powerful strikes that echoed through the small venue. The crowd and online commentators were stunned. The whispers before the match were about her famous parents, but the conversation after was all about her undeniable power and potential. Her victory wasn't just a win, it was a statement. She wasn't there because of her last name. She was there to inflict pain and win. She had earned this moment, not on a red carpet, but through sweat, grit, and a journey that almost ended before it even started. It was a debut built on old-school principles. Paying your dues, learning your craft, and proving your worth between those ropes. A legacy of Hollywood royalty. To really get the weight of Arissa LeBrock's choice, you have to understand the world she came from. She's the daughter of two absolute titans of 80s and 90s pop culture. Her father, Steven Seagal, is a name that means a very specific kind of action movie. He wasn't just an actor playing a tough guy. He was a legitimate 7th Dan black belt in Aikido who brought a new, bone-snapping style of martial arts to the big screen. Movies like Above the Law and Under Siege made him a global superstar, a larger-than-life figure of lethal force. Her mother, Kelly LeBrock, was an icon of a different kind. She was a supermodel who became the dream girl for a generation, lighting up classic films like Weird Science and The Woman in Red. She was the embodiment of 80s glamour and beauty. Together, Steven Seagal and Kelly LeBrock were the ultimate Hollywood power couple, representing two sides of stardom: action hero masculinity and cinematic beauty. This was Arissa's inheritance. A life where fame and the public eye were the family business. That's a double-edged sword for any celebrity kid. The name opens doors and gets you attention, but it also casts a massive shadow. The pressure to live up to that, or the struggle to escape it, is intense. The expectation for Arissa might have been to follow her mother into acting and modeling, or to live a private life away from the spotlight. In fact, her mother chose to raise her kids away from Hollywood, trying to give them a normal life. Choosing to be a professional wrestler, a world of grueling travel, physical punishment, and constant judgment, wasn't just unexpected. It was a radical break from everything her lineage suggested. It was a choice to step out of that shadow and into the harshest spotlight there is, where your name means nothing if you can't back it up. The first act modeling, martial arts, and a new dream. Before she ever thought about wrestling boots, Arissa LeBrock was already making a name for herself, but in a totally different world. She stepped into high fashion, but on her own terms, becoming a successful plus-size model. This wasn't just a job, it was advocacy. She appeared on magazine covers and even starred with her mother on the Lifetime reality show Growing Up Supermodel, which followed celebrity kids trying to make it in the modeling industry. Through her work, Arissa became a voice for body positivity, pushing for a more inclusive standard of beauty. But while she was succeeding in fashion, another passion was growing, one that connected more to her father's world. Arissa started training seriously in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This wasn't just a hobby, she was a dedicated student, competing in tournaments and winning medals. BJJ is a discipline that requires immense toughness and strategic thinking, and it was here that she built a foundation of legitimate combat skill. This unique mix of modeling and martial arts set the stage for a shocking career change. In December 2019, the wrestling world got the news. Arissa LeBrock, the model and BJJ practitioner, was set for a WWE tryout at their performance center in Orlando. This was her chance to merge her charisma with her proven athletic skill, joining a diverse group of athletes all fighting for a WWE contract. She had the look, the lineage, and most importantly, the legitimate martial arts background. It seemed like the perfect opportunity to prove to the biggest wrestling company on the planet that she was more than just a famous name. The Shattered Dream and the Long Road. Back the WWE Performance Center is where dreams are made or broken. For Arissa LeBrock in 2019, it must have felt like the start of everything she'd worked for. She had decided to chase this wild dream, and then, in an instant, it was all torn away. The exact details are private, but the outcome was catastrophic. Shortly after her tryout, Arissa suffered a severe, dream-crushing injury. It was so bad that it didn't just sideline her, it forced her to walk away from wrestling entirely. The dream was over. For someone with other career options, this would have been a clear sign to quit. The physical toll was huge, but the psychological one was worse. Arissa later described this period as a deep, dark place, admitting in her own powerful words, "I had become comfortable in the darkest, worst place in my life." It seemed the story of Arissa LeBrock, the wrestler, would just be a footnote, a what-if story of unfulfilled potential. For years, that's where her wrestling story ended. But then, a phone call changed everything. The call came from an unlikely savior, wrestling legend Dustin Rhodes. Rhodes, the son of the iconic American Dream Dusty Rhodes, is one of the most respected figures in the business. He runs the Rhodes Wrestling Academy in Texas, a school built on hard work and old-school fundamentals. He saw what others had forgotten, the untapped potential. He offered Arissa a second chance, an invitation to move to Texas and rebuild herself from the ground up under his watch. That call was the lifeline she needed. She later said, "It was time for me to give every ounce of passion within me to professional wrestling." She relocated and dedicated herself completely to the grueling process of recovery and retraining. The Rhodes Wrestling Academy was a world away from the polished WWE Performance Center. It was a place where she wasn't a celebrity's daughter. She was a student, learning to translate her BJJ skills into the language of pro wrestling. Under Dustin's mentorship, she didn't just heal her body, she rebuilt her confidence, turning a devastating setback into an incredible comeback story. Dustin Rhodes himself saw her incredible potential, stating, "She's doing a great job, but this is only the beginning for her. Pretty soon the whole world's going to be talking about Arissa LeBrock." His words are already starting to come true. Now that she's made her debut and proven she has the power and passion, the wrestling world is watching. The biggest question is, what's next? Will her journey lead her back to the global stage of WWE, maybe starting in NXT? Or could she join her mentor, Dustin Rhodes, in AEW? Who would you want to see Arissa LeBrock face in her first major feud? Let us know your dream matchups in the comments below. Arissa LeBrock's story is so much more than a debut. It's a powerful lesson in resilience. She carried the weight of two iconic names into the public eye, but she has chosen to define herself by her own scars and her own strength. The injury that once seemed like a tragic ending was actually a necessary detour. It stripped her down and forced her to build her career the hard way, earning respect through skill and determination instead of her name. Arissa LeBrock isn't just carrying on a legacy, she's forging her own in the brutal world of professional wrestling, proving that she earned her place, one painful step at a time.